Rebecca Coriam was a young woman from England. She was 24 years old when she got a job on the Disney Wonder cruise ship. She worked as an animator, taking care of children, helping with programs for kids and teenagers. Everyone who knew Rebecca admired her kindness, her smile, and the way she cared for those around her. She was full of life, energetic, always ready to help. In March 2011, the ship was on its regular route between Mexico and Los Angeles. On the evening of March 21st, Rebecca sent a message to her parents saying she would call them the next day. No one suspected that this would be their last contact. The next day, she did not show up for her morning shift. Colleagues checked her cabin, the corridors, the service areas, but Rebecca was nowhere to be found. An alarm was raised. The captain inspected the entire ship and involved all crew members. Still, there was no result. Security cameras recorded her early in the morning. She was walking down the corridor, holding a phone, talking, and looked upset. A young man approached her and asked if she was okay. She nodded, said she was fine, hung up the phone, and walked away. That was the last recorded moment of her presence. After this, a large-scale search began. The entire ship was checked. The Mexican Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard joined the search, but Rebecca was not found. Her disappearance was officially declared. The Royal Bahamas Police began an investigation, but it had many gaps. Many key witnesses were not interviewed, only a small part of the crew was questioned, and passengers were not involved in the investigation. Disney stated that it could have been an accident. Perhaps Rebecca fell overboard. Some claimed that a strong wave might have swept her away, but experts noted that the ship's deck walls were too high, and no such waves were recorded. Rumors of suicide also arose. Some believed she was experiencing an emotional crisis, but friends and family said this was impossible. The more time passed, the more theories emerged: crime, conspiracy, cover-up. Some crew members claimed they saw strange things on the deck that night, movements and shadows that did not match the official version. Rebecca's family believed the investigation was superficial and that the company cared more about its reputation than finding the truth. Rebecca disappeared without a trace. Neither her body nor her personal belongings were ever found. Each day made her disappearance more mysterious. People who knew her and those who followed the case could not understand what had happened. The mystery of Rebecca Coriam remained unsolved, and her disappearance became a symbol of a dark and unexplained maritime mystery. The investigation into Rebecca's disappearance began immediately, but it faced numerous challenges. The Royal Bahamas Police Force led the official inquiry, but the process was slow and incomplete. Many crew members were not interviewed, and passengers were largely left out of the investigation. Information about the ship's security footage was limited, and much of it was never fully released to the family. The more details emerged, the more inconsistencies appeared. Some crew members described Rebecca as having seemed upset in the days before her disappearance. She was polite and professional, but there were moments when she appeared withdrawn or stressed. No one could say exactly why. Disney maintained that Rebecca's disappearance might have been an accident. The possibility of her falling overboard was mentioned, though critics questioned this theory. The deck walls were high, the sea conditions that day were calm, and no eyewitnesses reported seeing her near the edge of the ship. Rumors of suicide circulated. Some people suggested she may have been struggling with personal issues. Friends and family, however, insisted that Rebecca had no intention of harming herself. She had plans for the future and seemed hopeful in her last communications. Other theories suggested foul play. Some believed that someone on board may have been involved in her disappearance. Crew members whispered about unusual events on the ship that night: shadows moving in corridors, unexplained noises, and moments that did not match the official timeline. These accounts fueled speculation but could not be confirmed. Rebecca's family was deeply frustrated by the lack of answers. They felt the investigation was superficial and that the company's reputation had taken precedence over discovering the truth. They demanded transparency, but much of the official information remained sealed. As days turned into weeks, the mystery only deepened. The search at sea was unsuccessful, and no trace of Rebecca was found. Theories continued to multiply: accidental fall, suicide, abduction, or cover-up. Yet, none could be proven. The unknown created a tension that hung over the ship and over everyone who had known Rebecca. Her colleagues were haunted by the questions. The crew carried on with their duties, but the memory of her disappearance lingered. Passengers who had seen her smiled in pictures, unaware of the tragedy unfolding. Rebecca Coriam's story became a symbol of unresolved mystery at sea, a reminder of how quickly life can change and how many questions can remain unanswered. Her presence, her laughter, and her work on the ship were remembered, but the truth about what happened that night remained hidden beneath the waves. As the investigation stalled, speculation continued to grow. Online forums and true crime communities dissected every known detail of Rebecca's disappearance. People debated what could have happened, each theory more unsettling than the last. Some suggested that her disappearance was purely accidental. Others believed it was the result of foul play, perhaps involving someone on board who wished to remain unseen. Crew members recalled small but strange incidents that had occurred in the days before she vanished. Shadows moving in the corridors, unexplained noises in empty rooms, and brief glimpses of figures where no one should have been. These stories were anecdotal, impossible to verify, yet they fueled a sense of unease. Rebecca's last moments on board remained unclear. The security footage showed her walking alone, talking on the phone, and appearing upset. She had no visible signs of panic, yet something in her demeanor suggested that she was troubled. No one saw her leave the ship or fall overboard. No witness came forward with a definitive account. Some investigators considered the possibility of a cover-up. The ship was owned by a large corporation, and some speculated that details might have been withheld to avoid scandal. Families and crew alike questioned the transparency of the investigation. The feeling that the truth was being hidden added a layer of suspicion to an already mysterious case. Despite the uncertainty, Rebecca's family remained determined. They tirelessly pursued information, contacted authorities, and requested access to all reports and footage. They fought to uncover answers that could explain what happened to their daughter. Meanwhile, the story of her disappearance became a cautionary tale among those who worked at sea. New crew members were warned of the dangers and the strange, unresolved cases of the past. Rebecca's absence was a silent reminder that even in a controlled, seemingly safe environment, something inexplicable could occur. Months passed, and the investigation produced no new leads. Theories multiplied, ranging from tragic accident to deliberate harm. Witnesses' recollections were inconsistent. Evidence was scarce. The ship continued its voyages, passengers unaware of the mystery that had unfolded on board, while Rebecca's family and friends remained haunted by the unknown. Her disappearance became a symbol of an unresolved maritime mystery. The questions surrounding her fate lingered in the minds of all who knew her, and the absence of answers created a lasting shadow over the Disney wonder. The story of Rebecca Coriam remained one of the most puzzling and haunting mysteries at sea. Rebecca's disappearance left a lasting impact on her family. Her parents were devastated and frustrated by the lack of answers. They traveled to meet with authorities, pressed for information, and demanded transparency. Yet the official investigation revealed very little. Key witnesses were never fully questioned, and much of the ship's security footage was withheld. The family's frustration grew as weeks turned into months. They felt the investigation was superficial, that crucial details were ignored, and that the truth was being obscured. The possibility that corporate interests had taken precedence over finding Rebecca weighed heavily on them. Rumors and stories continued to circulate among the crew. Some claimed that in the days before she vanished, Rebecca seemed anxious, withdrawn, or unusually quiet. Others remembered her laughing and interacting normally with children, showing the contrast of moods that only added to the mystery. Theories continued to multiply. Some suggested she had fallen overboard by accident. Others believed she had taken her own life. A more sinister theory was that she had been the victim of foul play, possibly at the hands of someone on the ship. Conspiracy theories suggested a cover-up, that the truth was deliberately hidden to protect the reputation of the cruise line. Despite the uncertainty, her family never gave up hope. They filed lawsuits, demanded further investigation, and tried to gather evidence themselves. Their efforts drew attention from media outlets, true crime communities, and online forums, keeping Rebecca's story alive. The absence of clear answers left the ship haunted by her story. Crew members spoke of an unease that lingered on board. Passengers often never knew the history of what had happened, but the atmosphere for those who worked there was never quite the same. Rebecca's disappearance became a symbol of unresolved tragedy at sea. The questions about her fate remained unanswered. Her life, her laughter, and her work on the ship were remembered fondly, yet the mystery continued to cast a shadow. Even years later, the story of Rebecca Coriam reminded everyone that sometimes truth at sea can be elusive and the unknown can endure. The mystery of Rebecca Coriam remains unsolved. Her body was never found. No final clue has ever explained what happened that night. Every unanswered question adds weight to the tragedy and leaves a lingering sense of unease. Her family continues to search for answers, driven by love and determination. They remember her laughter, her kindness, and her energy. They hold on to hope that one day the truth will be revealed. The story of Rebecca Coriam has inspired discussions, articles, and documentaries. True crime enthusiasts analyze the case, revisit the evidence, and speculate about what might have occurred. Every theory, every detail keeps her memory alive even as the mystery endures. Some believe it was a tragic accident. Others think it was suicide. Many suspect foul play and a possible cover-up. Shadows on the corridors, unexplained noises, the final moments captured on video. These fragments hint at something more, something that cannot be fully understood. Rebecca's disappearance has become a symbol of the unknown at sea, a reminder of how fragile life can be, and how mysteries can remain unsolved despite the passage of time. It is a story of loss, uncertainty, and the haunting power of unanswered questions. Even today, the sea holds its secrets. The Disney Wonder continues to sail, passengers unaware of the darkness that once touched the ship. The story of Rebecca Coriam lingers like a shadow, a reminder that some mysteries are never meant to be fully solved. Her legacy is her memory, the love of her family, and the countless people who continue to seek the truth. Her story teaches that not all disappearances are simple, and not all mysteries are meant to end with answers. Sometimes the unknown itself becomes the most powerful part of the tale. Rebecca Coriam is gone, but her story lives on, haunting the waves, echoing in the corridors, and reminding us all that some truths remain lost to the depths of the sea. If this story gave you chills, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more mysterious disappearances and unsolved true crime cases. Leave a comment with your thoughts on what might have happened to Rebecca. Was it an accident, foul play, or something more mysterious? On this channel, you'll find even more spine-tingling, real-life mysteries that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the latest stories, and explore the strange and unexplained with us.